Okay. Welcome, Leah. Welcome, Celeste.
Hola.
How are you all doing?
Doing good, doing good, doing a little work from home slash trying to work on my own stuff this weekend.
Ooh, which one? The poem, the plays?
The play, we are revising.
That's always fun, as you know. Celeste, how are you doing? Anything sciencey coming up?
Control Alt, right?
Control Alt Right. What's that? What's that? What's that? What was it? Quick key. Control Alt Right. I'm not trying it.
Alt A, something like that, right? Anyway, hello there.
Yeah, yeah. Any science fiction writing you've been doing?
I have been so bad on production, but I'm still lucky in that on the 12th, one of my stories is going to be included in the Best American Sci-Fi and Fantasy for the year. So I'm excited about that. Um, but as for new work, slow, slow, slow.
That's okay, and you don't have to. Yeah, yeah. We're calling it production, but because commodity, right? um,
Exactly.
yeah. Oh, it's creation. I think yeah. If we get in the mindset of creation, maybe that'll change things up. Production seems like so industrial the way it sounds.
Hmm.
But as a person in theater, I do have to say that a lot. So
Yes,
I take it
yes,
back, bro.
right. But it's good. I'm looking forward to what you got for us today.
Thank you.
I most of the time I never understand what the hell you're talking about, but it's always interesting.
That's okay. I don't know what I talk about either.
Okay,
Uh,
good.
uh,
Aaliyah, nice to meet you. I don't think I've ever seen you before.
You too. And it's funny, David and I are members of the same playwrights group.
Okay,
And so when he told us about this, I was like, oh, it's funny because I'm actually based in Harlem now.
okay.
And so I was like, oh, yay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was really great when we met in person in Harlem. But
Mm.
I'm okay with being virtual now since I'm not in Harlem anymore. So
Oh, okay.
it's cool. Plus, I don't want to be running around with all the germs.
Yes. Yes. It's a lot now. It's a lot.
Hmm.
oh yeah, it's everything. Everything closing down now again.
So they tell me this is like the fourth surge.
Fourth. Okay.
That's what
I
I heard. Yeah.
I feel like we never came out of the
The
second.
first one.
The first.
Right.
Well, okay. I was generous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish people understood graphs. Um, yeah,
But
but
in
I'm
your
glad
theater
we're safe
though,
and this is accessible. And musical theater is not something where you need to actually have to be in the room to like teach. Um, certainly, like fun fact, I'm a very terrible instrumentalist. So like when I get to that point of teaching it physically, oh boy. um, hello.
That's a friend of mine, Cecilia Davidson,
Cecilia, yeah,
aka
okay.
yeah.
Welcome,
She's also
Cecilia.
a playwright.
Okay. Sweet. Okay, Cecilia's a playwright. Okay, I'm gonna make sure to add her on
Cecilia
the
David
names.
and Aaliyah are playwrights.
Yep.
Alex and I are mainly prose.
Pros.
Alex, do you write songs?
I've always wanted to write songs, but it is an art form that has eluded me. I think my music background isn't strong enough to be
Mhm.
able, like, I could write lyrics, but could I actually like come up with a tune that I feel like makes sense? Not necessarily. Um, though Celeste, you and I were talking about my Zara story and putting in that like songbird narrative, and I did come up with like a chorus for that, just
Okay.
like 4 lines that did have, like, I literally looked, like I typed in like an online keyboard and it was like plucking out these random notes and like trying to make sure they were all in the same chord, but it was like a whole process. It took quite a while. But I love music. I love musical theater and I love writing. So like in theory, in my mind, like I would love to write music, but
Yeah,
it's a tricky thing for me.
right.
Well,
Okay,
I
yeah.
told
Oh,
people to be here promptly.
yeah. That's
So thank you to you folks who have arrived promptly. We'll give it maybe a few more minutes. And
okay.
then
I prepared like a gap time, so
that's good. It is Saturday too, so.
David, I'm gonna blank my screen for a while because my electricity just came
oh,
back on. So I just got lunch.
oh no, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Certainly, yeah. It's pretty much half PowerPoint and half interaction. So
Okay.
like yeah, the breakout rooms will be fun. I want to see what stories you create. And I want to see if I can give the best feedback after.
Oh
Um,
no, there's gonna be a test.
no, no, no. No, the feed. I not feed. Wrong word. Feedback. My thoughts.
Okay, okay.
All right, you know what? Let's go around the room. Yeah, just state your name, pronoun, a bit of what you do, and yeah, if you could title your life, the past year, what would you title it? And yeah, let me know your occupation of are you a novelist, a poet, and or playwright? Um, yeah, so my name's David, he him. Um, yeah, I'm a musical theater science communicator. So both my identities are in the progress of science and yeah, the musical theater form. And I would usually like to introduce the science field to musical theater in this kind of way, and also introduce those who are in touch with the performing arts to science. I think this is I like it's oftentimes yeah like oftentimes a community that is very close, but they never touch. So like I want to bridge this community, and yeah, I just all around playwrights. Oh yeah, if I could title my life for the past year, it'd be exclamation point. uh, maybe exclamation point, three exclamation points. Yeah, that's my title for the past year. And I'll go with Aaliyah.
Hi, Aaliyah, playwright and poet and filmmaker. Um, if I had to title this past year, I would call it Stepping Stone. I think I've made a lot of progress this year and can see that a lot of things coming into fruition in the next year. So yeah, I'll pass it off to Alexandra.
Hi, I'm Alexandra. I use she, her pronouns. I'm also the organizer of the Harlem Neighborhood Writers Group, which will be rebranding soon to Harlem Writers United. That's a whole nother conversation. I am a novelist. I write predominantly fantasy fiction from young adult to adult. And if I had to give this past year a title, it would be Staying Alive. um, Celeste, I'll pass it to you.
Hi, Celeste. Definitely, this past year would be treading water in mud, um, feminine, she, him, crazy, not so crazy, science fiction, not hard science, mainly fantasy, magical realism. Um, I'm happy to be, safe, not required to interact out in the world a lot right now. But on the other hand, I miss you guys. So I'm happy to be here today. And let me introduce my friend, Cecilia Davidson. You may have seen her out and about in Harlem or I don't think she's ever come to any of our meetings, but I know she's come to a couple of the shows that we used to put on. And she was putting on plays at the George Bruce Library and at the Harvard Library. You had that look like, that sounds familiar. Yes, her alter ego name is Ceci. Hold on, here she is. Go, Cess.
You are on mute if you're speaking.
How is that?
Much better.
Okay, I'm still getting used to this form of Zoom. So first, I thank you for allowing me to be a guest in your regular meeting today. Thank you, my friend Celeste. And I want to apologize in advance. I wanted very much to attend the whole meeting, but I may have to be abrupt and leave, but I'm not being rude, and I apologize if you're in the middle of something and I have to get going. I'm a playwright. My theme for this year is exit, enter. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. So, this is pretty much a small group right now. We don't have to really go into breakout rooms. So, the point of me trying to list you all is, I would have, split you all up into breakout rooms. I would organize it by having one novelist, one playwright, and one poet. It's usually to represent of kind of the way usually musical teams are, where they have a librettist, uh, lyricist, and a composer. So, like right now, it's four people, and so currently, the way I'm written it is Alexandra's currently, the novelist, and um, yes, Celeste. I think I can add a prose, but I'm not. I'm barely like not sure how close it is to poetry. Um, but Aaliyah could be a hybrid playwright poet, and Ceci it could be the a playwright. Once she has to step out, then Aaliyah can step in as the playwright of the team. And so basically, I'm just gonna share with you. So on the schedule sheet, gonna just plug in the chat like who your roles is so you remember. But on this Google Doc, so I'm gonna make you Team X. So in this Google Doc, if you're talking, let's see, novelist, Celia Curry, playwrights, playwright poets, okay, and Celia Davis. Okay, one more person. Hello, Avi. How are you doing?
I'm good. How's everything with you?
Well, we're just introducing ourselves. Yeah, it's good to hear from you. Are you from Harlem?
I'm not from Harlem. I did spend some time there when I was doing a workshop 2 years ago at the Public Theater. So that's how I kind of got more into musicals again. And yeah, I'm excited to learn more from you today.
Sweet. So yeah, what? Just let us know your name, your pronoun, a bit what you do. So it seems like you're already into musical theater. This is nice. Um, and if you could title your life the past year, what would you title it? And yeah, you novelists, poets, playwrights, and the etc.
Okay, so she, her. I would say I'm pretty much a multi-hyphenate. I came back to musical theater after doing a lot of it in high school and then went on to do music. I make a lot of like dance hall and like hip hop and that type of music. Um, and then I and then I got back into it when I came to do bars workshop at the Public Theater. And I was really inspired by David Diggs and Raphael Cassell and how they sort of integrated that with their music, with their main, with their, I guess, modern day, commercial music. And, we ended up workshopping a lot of different pieces. And I have like one song that I really like, and I want to kind of turn it into a mini musical. And so, yeah, just trying to figure that out. Oh, and my for the past year, I would say it's been a beautiful mess. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm from the Bay Area, born and raised, and ended up doing some traveling because I'm like working remote and things changed due to the pandemic. So, yeah, and been writing the whole time in, various formats, and just happy to be here today.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a literary fellow of a theater in San Francisco currently. Playwrights
Hey.
Foundation. Yeah, it's nationally known for new play developments. And I have to organize over 800 scripts. Anyways, and read 10 scripts a week. Anyways, I'm glad to escape here. So it seems there's pretty much enough people. It might. Oh yeah, Alexandra. Yeah, what went there? Yeah, for school, right?
Well, I'm from there originally. So I was born and raised in the Bay Area. So whenever anybody says Bay Area, I get really excited because most people think Northern California, San Francisco, and that's it.
Right.
What part are you from or were you living in?
So I moved from San Francisco and I'm kind of doing like a cross country travel. But I was born in Santa Rosa, so NorCal. Then I grew up in Fairfield in my younger years, and then moved to like the San Mateo area. So I guess I have to claim like the whole Bay.
Got it. Got it. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. How about you?
I was born and raised, well, I was born in Oakland and then was raised in Richmond, but a lot of my family and my school is in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. Dope.
Sweet. Let's get started. I look forward to getting to know you more. Okay, more people. This is Marilyn. Okay, let's just, yeah, let's just let us know who you are, and, and we'll just make a musical together. All right.
Welcome, Marilyn. So
Yes. Let us know your name and a bit of what you do.
Yeah, we're just doing introductions. But you're on mute.
Marilyn Williams, and I write. I have an announcement. I'll leave it till later.
Cool. Thank you. This means a lot. It's great to see you, Marilyn, again. It's been a while. Yeah. So I'm just gonna. Okay. So what I was gonna have you do is split up in breakout rooms, but we'll just make a musical together, all right? Right? Does this sound good?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
improvisation, just change your
Yes.
plan, right? So currently this is how I'm organizing it right now. Okay. So Alexandra, I'm adding a composer aspect to it because Avi. So Alexandra Williams Fleck and Marilyn Williams. Okay, so my question to you is, what is one law that you would break if you could? So when I say that, I don't mean like necessarily in a narrow scope of like the rules of society. It could be like, oh, I want to break the laws of physics and I can fly, or I want, yeah, societally, like I want to rig Blue Origin's rocket where Jeff Bezos in, and like he never returns to Earth and he has to look at Earth and freaking be on timeout forever. Like those examples. So if you could come up with, yeah, like what would be a law that you break?
Yeah, I mean, I think the law of physics is certainly one. Like being able to travel somewhere in like a split second, I think would be phenomenal. Um, because it would open you up to the entire world and you could just get there with a port key in Harry Potter, or or like some sort of teleportation device. I don't know, but I think that would be pretty cool.
Well, there's a lot of laws I could break, but how about the way men treat women? We'd like to get them on the female end.
Is that a law we could break? Have like women have the power to turn men into women for a day and they have to experience what it is to be us?
Yes.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be good.
Okay, we already have like a way to break the stasis. Okay, so a character, your protagonist is able to do that. Let's just say, right? So the playwrights of the team. So if you could, can you question the novelist and like go into like diving deeper into what they're proposing here? So Aaliyah and Ceci.
Well, it seems like the way men treat women, um, it's an unwritten law, accepted cultural practice. So what we're talking about, something that is actually illegal, but culturally it's legal. If a man takes a machete and cuts his wife's head off, that's illegal. But in some cultures, perhaps, if the man cuts his wife's head off because she committed adultery, that's unwritten law acceptance. So I guess I would ask the novelist if you wanted to explore this as a cultural phenomenon as opposed to just one single character.
I like that.
Are we supposed to answer the question?
Oh no, you don't have to. You have to make sure you have to take it in and
Got it.
conceptualize the story a little deeper. This is gonna be intense because there's two novelists right now trying to, and I'm gonna see how you're gonna like try to battle out the ideas or try to merge them, which is kind of what you just did with teleportation and how men treat women. And it's kind of merged it. That was really cool, right? How that came about. So, poets, Celeste, yeah, just dive into just the person, who the person is. Like, give them a name or consider thinking about giving him a name. Since you're a sci-fi writer, it might be perfect for you. Like, you have a list of names probably in your inventory in your head that you can just use.
The person who is the unsatisfied victim name is Elda, Elda, Elda. And the person who we are hoping will learn something from this situation, either through the teleportation, mutation is going to be Vadi, Vadi.
Sweet. And then because I'm adding a composer aspect to it, Avi, if you could consider like making a motif like in this form of any instrument you have nearby, and it can be just your pencil hitting against your desk, or like for Ada and Vadi. I think if you want, let's focus on one character just in case. Which one would you want to focus more on, Celeste? And pretty much let's just go all, like what?
The one who experiences the change, not the one who we are
Body,
sympathetic to.
right?
Body, right?
Yeah. Okay. Let's focus on Body. So, Avi, consider giving a motif to Body. All right. Sweet. Let's get started on the slides. Right. The fun part. So I'm gonna. Oh, more people. Sweet. Hey, Rose. Sorry, we're getting started right now, but we'll let you introduce yourself after. We'll pick up from the slides. All right. It's good to see you. So this is The Lion King as a good introduction to musical theater. I bet everyone loves Lion King. This is Daniela Cobb. She's right in the middle. She's Leah and my friend. And yeah, so the three aspects of musical theater we usually consider is book, music, and lyrics. So we're going to consider book. And checking chat. Book is arguably the most important aspect of musical. Yeah, the music isn't enough to save it. So it's of course the story. The story is like just any storytelling medium is the aspect that carries the story. There are sometimes things like music that rarely carries the story, and like it's usually part of conceptual musicals, which is kind of like parallel to a concept album where it doesn't really have a coherent like genre. Let's say like it's a artist's expression of putting together like a compilation but calling it more a concept album. Jukebox musicals, kind of, yeah, like a lot of like Mamma Mia ish, even though it has a little more story. Rock of Ages. So we're gonna focus on original musicals because permission and rights are gonna take another like months. And so the demographic of our class are novelists, playwrights, and poets. So there's things that I'm considering trying to teach you. I feel like you have an idea of what a lot of story structures are, like chapters, scenes, character development. You obviously know what inciting incident is, so we're not going to dive into deeply into it. And like disclaimer, there are a lot of things that obviously it's a lot of things to take in as a musical writer, and it's a lot of things to take in as a storyteller. So there are what the purpose of this class is usually just to give you new tools that you could possibly use. You know, to just magically turn into a musical writer afterwards. That'd be cool. Like you just became a musical writer immediately after it because you were inspired. But these are good tools to have. Hopefully, it opens up your mind. Same way for like the next class that Harlem puts up. Like I always have to go into these foundational classes of storytelling because a lot of times I forget, and we forget like simple things sometimes. So continue on book. There are two major categories of musicals oftentimes. It's the character-driven musical and it's plot-driven musical. The character-driven, I think definitely a storytelling in every storytelling medium, but just to give you a rundown, character-driven focuses on the character more. So if we think of a highway versus a street, right? So when you're on a highway, you're on autopilot, so you're going to focus on that passenger to the right of you while driving. So you're going to learn a lot of who they are. And a character driven musical, it's sort of like a street. You gotta focus on the road. Like you're not gonna really pick up on the passengers in your car and learn who they are quite as uh, yeah, as well as a uh, character driven musical. So um, that's yeah, and usually yeah, the way yeah, a lot of musicals are usually focused on character driven because a lot of songs are all usually focused on like the character. So um, any questions on that in particular?
Could you give an example of a plot driven musical that we might recognize the name of?
Um,
Character driven?
yeah, title of show. I don't know. That's like probably let's see, title of show. If it's a good show, I'll so basically the songs don't really dive into the characters and it's just pushing forward how um
What
a
about
musical
your
is written.
example of The
And
Lion
then
King?
hmm?
The Lion King you just showed.
Like yes, the Lion King. Oh yeah, yeah. Like, I'm thinking too. Yeah, it's specific, but yeah, the Lion King is an example of plot-driven musical. Um, it doesn't necessarily like dive into each character per se. It's I know it shows the growth of Simba, but the plot is the one that the overall focus is on Simba being king, not Simba. Let's say. That's the whole gist of mostly the story. The goal is the focus is more the focus in a plot driven musical. So they're going to focus on the mission more than they're going to focus on um, Simba's character. I haven't seen Hamilton, but if I can it from what I feel of just seeing the title of that show, um, I well, not the title actually. So in real time, I'm thinking because of the first number is Hamilton telling you that he's going to get shot in the end of that first number. I'm already thinking more plot wise. Yeah, I if it oftentimes when it's a character driven musical, it's totally more of thinking inside the brains of a character, and it's like Greek choruses all come in a lot of times is to yeah like a Greek chorus basically harmony chorus and backup singers that like are basically telling the audience what's inside the brain of a character. That's usually the case of a character driven musical. Yeah, and of course yeah there's usually an intermission and so a musical versus a novel. There are the things that are added is collaboration. You're usually the sole writer of a novel, but a lot of times you work with many people, like just like a theater. Music, show, not tell. So there's yeah exposition that you can give in a novel, but you like we kind of take it away by just putting a costume on the characters and building a set, right? Um, and joking wise, self-respect, but we lose the familial respect. Just saying personally. um, yeah, what do we subtract time? You have more time in a novel to just get immersed in the world. Well, it's like it costs $10,000 per minute, right? So, and sweet silence. Okay, unlimited intermission. Joking wise, you can have bathrooms when in novels. I guess reading it, but like maybe not as much when you're at musicals. It's gonna look rude. So, can anyone tell me what's the first plot point of a musical?
Tell a story and put music to it.
Yeah, what's the first music called?
The opening number, right? That kind of
Yes.
like that's the world setting, like what is normal life like for the characters.
Correct. Yep. And the example is the circle of life. It's establishing the world and showing basically who is likely to be the protagonist, which is the cub that's raised up on the cliff. And can anyone tell me the second one? And it's found in most stories.
The conflict.
That's a good one. That comes mostly after this one.
Is it the inciting incident?
Yep. And that's in Lion King: The Stampede when Mufasa dies. So yeah, you again the opening number establishes the world, lays down the characters, the settings. Most of the time, it starts at the stasis. There are I can't think of any example on the top of my head, but there are times where it's absolutely starts at the inciting incident. I think Urinetown starts at the inciting incident. But like yeah, like where um, let's say yeah, usually the a musical starts with a fight or something, right? That's inciting incident immediately, like possibly, and um, but opening number wise, yeah, it basically tells you the tone of the musical. So when we think of things like Beetlejuice, you already know it has a dark tone. If we think of Spamalot, where the show is the narrator starts off seriously and then it goes into a song about Finland, people slapping each other with fishes. You can easily guess that it's probably a comedy. Um, Genre of music, yeah, like Hamilton is hip hop, pop, rap. You could just tell from basically that's usually how the genre of music is set. A lot of times nowadays, a lot of singers have written conceptual albums, and they those albums in 20 years become musicals. And some examples are Jagged Little Pill, um, and Hadestown. Uh, and Hadestown is folksy. And yeah, usually the genre of music, yeah, just it stays pretty much the same throughout. Uh, Usually, the case is the way things change throughout the show is whether something's upbeat or ballad. That's usually how a lot of musical are. Usually, the genre is very much the same throughout the whole time. Um, Except me, who usually like has pop genre, sequel genre, and tangle genre, and usually that's my way of mixing things up. The choreography, yeah, that West Side Story starts up choreographically. Again, sets up like that the show is going to be more of a dance musical, and it's going to be told through dance instead of word. The anthem, just basically another way to say it's a motif. There's a motif that's going to be set up, and uh, by the end, hopefully you cry when you hear the motif when it's played in a minor key or something, right? A good example is Bring in Noise, Bring in the Funk. Yeah, just from this alone, what does this tell you about the musical?
I mean, tap dance.
Yep.
And a lot of noise.
That means you, as an audience member, have to
But this
know what you're getting into and whether that 15-minute ticket return policy is good. Um, so if you have any more, yeah, plug them in the chat. We'll move on to my favorites opening number.
Hello, would you like to change religions? Cunningham, that's not how we do it. You're making things up again. Just stick to the approved dialogue. Elders, show it.
Hello! My name is Elder Cunningham! And we would like to share with you this book of Jesus Christ. Hello! Just take this book. It's free for you.
So this, yeah, the wonderful thing about this is like you don't have to actually stage like a whole like major, like just like bringing noise, bringing the fun. You have to stage the whole like set, and certainly just from the mannerism of these characters, it's telling you everything about the story. So in the beginning, it did say like, just as Cunningham introduced his name, that you can just tell already he's like one of the protagonists just because he stick out, right? During the beginning, the way it's one of the best opening numbers is, hello, my name is Elder Smith, my name is Elder Price. You can already get the name already just on the get-go. Usually opening numbers tell you the names, tell you who these people are, and people know how Mormons act. So yeah, and yeah, throughout the whole time, the mannerism of how they're ringing doorbells, theatrically they're talking to the audience, and they can do wonderful things like when they can pretend there's a kid that they're gonna talk to, they look down, right? And you're already like, oh, they're talking to a kid. You don't have to build a freaking house and have a kid playing a kid. So like that's a wonderful thing about theatrical elements. You can pretend that there's a Mormon that's looking at a big giant person, and you're like, it's based on the way they sing it, all freaking out. You can tell that they're looking at a big person. And another one I enjoy. So that's the opening number of Hair. Played in its orchestra twice. And yeah, like, as much as I don't like astrology, it's a good song. And yeah, it tells you, the mood is gonna be psychedelia. And as an audience member, you know what you're getting into. And yeah, this concession stands would be fun. Then that's my opening number. I don't have time to share it, but I sped it up. Funnily thing, like because I didn't have time. This whole thing is so long. Wait. Nothing. Yeah, but we don't have time for that. Anyway, so don't worry about like writing the opening number first. I'm just showing you.
No, go back and do a little bit more of that, please.
Oh no, I actually don't have time. Okay, maybe. Okay, leading it. Nothing. Let's bounce. So a little bit of that, you can always write the opening number in kind of any sort of format. So this musical that I was able to develop within the year, we had to show it virtually, and I had to basically animate how I would conceptualize Galaxy or the performers dancing. And yeah, that motif dun 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 is found throughout the whole musical. So, and it's like it's attached to these characters. And yeah, of course, at the end I kind of score it in a longer tone, and then it's supposed to hopefully make the audience be very overwhelmed. Like, oh, that's usually what the opening number set up you for the audience. But yeah, again, like, don't worry about writing opening number first.
Excuse me, what do you mean when you say a longer tone?
A longer tone, yeah. So I'm just dragging out the melody. So the melody, dun 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 dun, Da, 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 da. Yeah. Um, it's oftentimes the way musicals like is planting these seeds in your head, um, and attaching a certain melody to a character like a protagonist, and then when the protagonist, let's say, is dying, and you hear it in this kind of minor tone after hearing so long in such like very similar tones, it's like, oh, this is overwhelming. It's an easy kind of way to convey a musical journey. But yeah, again, like, don't worry, opening numbers are usually written near last. The reason why is we don't know the story oftentimes when we first write it. It's the composers usually always have to be like, okay, I don't want to change the motif that I'm writing over and over. I got to know the whole story that this lyricist is gonna write. So oftentimes the opening number is written last because the opening number is the one that's gonna establish who each of these characters are going to be throughout the whole musical, and characters change all the time during the drafting process. I mean, my example is I was just very fortunate to kind of just know how my story. I don't think I'll change the opening number personally. So like if that's the case, then that's when you can kind of sort of write the opening number first. And so we're gonna go focus on the more major things that y'all know. The inciting incident. And so, the inciting incident, must establish its clear goal. And usually it's stated if the story is once upon a time something happened, the inciting incident is the something that kickstarts the story. It's not always that simple. So, and just the trope of what theater shows are oftentimes about. Once upon a time, a theater is about to be bulldozed, then the community came together. And it's actually often a fiction. So many theaters are dying right now. Anyways, so everyone knows the inciting incident anyways. What we're going to do is mostly focus on, we have to, a major thing about musical writers is we also have to add marketer into our mix. I know like novelists do too, and like poets do too, like have to make sure you have yourself as a sort of like a brand, but musical writers, because it's a lot of this work is 7 years, like we have to get an audience in the get-go. So this is just me throwing marketing into that like inciting incident like subject matter. So don't be scared to share your work with others. It's like your work is the only one that you're gonna execute correctly, right? Believe that. And some examples of like taglines of how these shows like grab the audience is, one example is Prom. Big Broadway starts a small town and a love that unites them all. Don't be fooled by the pink, she is not playing. Divorce, beheaded, live in concert. Going ahead. So the synopsis, oftentimes, this is even taught in like, so some dramatist guild classes where, like, to just immediately pick up an audience. Even playwrights deploy this kind of tactic. It's like the protagonist wants something, the story goal, and goes after it against all odds and obstacles, and usually the all odds and obstacles are the antagonists and conflict. So the example is Simba wants to be the king of the Pride Lands and goes after it by taking down his uncle Scar and their pack of hyenas. And say no more, just like marketing wise, say no more and have people asking, just because I learned from as a person of science, I confuse everyone afterwards. I just start off with, I'm writing about a family of galaxies, and they have to like stop the Big Bang. Stop there. Like, I don't want to just be like, in singularity, SPT0615JD, Milky Way, Cartwheel, Whirlpool. It does, so usually, of course, I hope it helps you as a marketer that you just say less and have people question you after. Have people get the details themselves, like instead of overwhelming them. Um, my musical Ellipses, the whole universe is a family drama. Hope you get the gist of that. Spend an eternity in a family musical of epic proportions. Ellipses is this cosmology mythology that stars Singularity and their galaxy children and follows their quest to undo the Big Bang after their family dog Gravity sets it off. Insane, doesn't it? It has people questioning more. At least that's my experience. And yeah, I'll just check the time. So I don't have time to show the inciting incident, but what happens is, yeah, JD strikes down their parental figure. The protagonist wants to become an independent adult and a parent. I'm just hinting what a parent means with that parentheses, let's just say. So JD incapacitates their parent Singularity to escape and venture out with their dog Gravity against their siblings' wishes. Doesn't have to have an antagonist like any story. It could just be like an overall the conflict. The siblings aren't the antagonists, but they're trying to stop JD. So, what time do we are? Okay, yeah, we're on time now. So let's go back to not technically breaking out, but because we're all together again now. So we're gonna present your team's inciting incident. So the novelist in that Google Doc I shared, write a synopsis, then write a tagline based on your team's inciting incident. So yeah, your not necessarily your inciting incident, but you kind of know that your gender swapping powers is a force that you can use in the inciting incident. The playwright, please write just a sample of the stage directions. Just write the play, a little bit of what is going to go on in that inciting incident that's happening. And then the poet, write a monologue of Vitas, right? Vadis. What's Vadis thinking while they're going through this transformation? Does anyone have any questions?
You want us to actually write this?
It's in the Google Doc, so I just collaborate. I'll be off camera, but I'll be nearby. So like, let me know if you have really any questions, and just presents what you have. I think this is gonna be really fun with how many people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so Rose, you're here. So just go ahead, introduce yourself, Rose. So tell us your name, pronoun, a bit of what you do, and if you could title your life the past year, what would you title it?
Wrong button. Hi, I'm Rose. I teach at City College, up in the Heights, and I write professionally and recreationally. And then what was the question about my life?
If you were to title your life the past year, what would it be?
Oh goodness, that's a tricky question. Southern boy in New York. It's a fun one.
I almost thought it was like Southern Boy in New York. That could be a really fun title. Southern Boy in New York. But okay, sweet. And okay, what medium do you usually write in?
So I generally write fiction. I'm working on a novel right now, and I have a number of short stories. So yeah, generally do fiction, speculative fiction.
Okay, sweet. And then we have 3 novelists here. Okay, but that's okay. We already have the setup of a story. Yeah, we shared a drive, right? The doc. Okay, you did. Okay, thank you. So in this doc that's being shared, I can also put in like what it's already in a doc too, what the objectives you need to do. So you Rose, Alexandria, and Marilyn try to formulate a tagline and a synopsis. And Leah and Ceci write out a scene, not like a brief, stage direction scene into this inciting incident. If we can collab, like, let's see, should I just break out rooms or? No, it's probably better everyone here, because the communication is probably good. So I'm just gonna leave. Everyone, please communicate. Anyways, this is my first time teaching, okay? And this is my first time. I'm just trying this kind of thing. No one's tried it.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're doing good. I have a question about the document. Can we all work in it at the same time? I've
Yes.
never done that.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You just start typing wherever you want and
Yep.
it will automatically push it around?
Yep.
Cool. All right.
I'll be here. My camera's off.
One question.
Mhm.
What's a tagline?
Oh, so a tagline tagline is just a short, like, description of your story, like a very brief. So, like the Mean Girls one, what was it? Not Pink? Yeah, like, well, let's see. For one example is Lion King, I cannot come up with one right now for what I would say Lion King is, but a cub takes down their uncle. Like, a king takes over the throne.
Okay.
Like, that's an example. A king takes over the throne. What's a show that's Star Wars. A kid from the desert destroys a planet destroyer. I don't know. I'm not good at this.
Wicked is the untold story of the Witches of Oz. I think the tagline right there with it.
Okay, yes, this is a good example. So, everyone, please, if you need, ask me or Rose, because Rose is the actual teacher. All right, I'll be out. Go have fun and communicate, please.
Okay, so to recap what we said about our musical world, we have two characters, Elda and Vadi, and we said we wanted to focus on Vadi, who has to learn a lesson. So my assumption is that Vadi is likely male, because we said that we were looking at the sort of like law illegality, but cultural legality of violence against women from men. And so our inciting incident, which usually comes from outside of the character, not internal of the character. So would that mean the point at which they are turned into a woman and that sort of starts their journey? Does that sound right to people as where we would be in our inciting incident?
That sounds good to me. I don't know about other people, but I mean, that seems like a pretty dramatic, exciting incident, right?
Yeah.
Right, because then that would set him on his journey of learning what it is to be a woman in the world and dealing with some of the crap that he potentially has inflicted on other people. So then when thinking about a tagline,
I said
a sentence that encapsulates that.
turns man into woman for a day.
Say that again, Marilyn.
Woman turns man into woman for a day.
Okay, so woman turns man into a woman for a day. So that's an option for the tagline. Is there a way that we can incorporate the lesson aspect into that, right?
Man learns to be a woman for a day.
Yeah, something like he he learns or firsthand experience, right?
Yeah.
Like man gets front row seat to what it means to be a woman.
I don't know, this might be like a bad pitch. I don't really know what the tagline would be, but something comes to mind about being in someone else's shoes and like filling the shoes of a woman. It's actually, or I also don't want to be like, okay, heels, because not every woman wears heels, but
Yeah.
something of that nature is coming to mind. So
I
Yeah.
literally just was gonna say that. It
Oh.
just seems like a very obvious move.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
shoes, heels, gender, it does the whole thing.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Camera's on you, Rose, so you got to come up with something.
Carolyn.
Uh,
What's the setting for this?
I mean, I assumed modern day with that kind of like Freaky Friday twist.
In like a city, in a small town?
I feel like with names Elda and Vadi, it kind of speaks to like village life to me, but I don't know, Celeste, if that's what you had planned when you selected those names.
I wasn't even thinking of a setting. So you guys put it where you want it. And we'll be there.
Village life is kind of fun because I feel like the whole, like in the 80s, they were real into the like gender politics, like, you know, swapping stuff. But I feel like you haven't done stuff with a very like modern urban gender focus. But I feel like a cross between like Fiddler on the Roof and gender swapping would be very, very unique.
very.
So I don't know if this is too on the nose for the tagline, but I was trying to incorporate the idea of the heels because it is an obvious sort of image, but also recognizing that not all of the experience of being a woman is a positive experience. So I wrote walking a mile in her heels and horrors because it kind of like hopefully gives like the potentially good side and the potentially bad side, but also the idea of someone who doesn't normally experience this, experiencing it for the first time, and hopefully having a learning experience. So I don't know how you guys feel about that, if you have feedback that you want to give to that.
I like it.
Just gonna make horrors and heels. Sounds better. Horrors and heels. All right, tagline done. So now we need a synopsis, but just a synopsis of the inciting incident. So So how does he get turned into a woman? I immediately think of things like A Christmas Carol, where like the ghost of Christmas's past or something comes and turns him, or like a fairy godmother, some sort of external magical device or whatnot that initiates that change. Or we did say, do we want it to be that Elda is actually the one who somehow affects the change based on like, I don't know what, but.
I like the idea. Is Elda the female who is like being harassed or something? I like the idea of giving her the power of turning him. That seems pretty badass.
Okay. Now, does she intentionally have this power, or is it? I feel like there's two ways we can go about it, right? She can have power and know she has power and use that power against him, or we can make this sort of theme of women being powerful creatures and not necessarily knowing that they have this power within them, but it is something she says or something she does that sort of unleashes that power on him that turns him into a woman.
Activation, like finding out that she also, because then it's like the inciting incident also reveals something to her too, that she has this magical power, and then he's also turned into a woman.
Okay. So Amanda has innate power she is unaware of. Upon being harassed by Vadi, she wishes, curses to spend a day in the life of a woman. So he can see first and his and others' behavior. Body dismisses her. In my mind, I really want him to like it to not be immediate, but him to like wake up. Like she wishes this or curses him or whatever, and he's just like, yeah, okay, whatever, leave me alone. And then I don't know, maybe he like goes and gets drunk with his friends or something, passes out, and then he wakes up the next day and suddenly he's like a woman and doesn't know what to do.
He freaks out.
Definitely freaking out.
Yeah, that sounds good. He doesn't even have to be out with friends. He just lies down, take a nap, and when he wakes up, he's another entity.
Yeah, he goes about his life that night, still laughing. And Elda's, oh shit, what was the word I just had in my head? Oh well. I'm just thinking, like, conceptually, if this was actually a play, would we replace him with a woman, or would we have him be in drag for like the day, having to be a woman? And like, what would that look like? Oh, that could be pretty cool.
I think he needs to bring all skill sets to the table if he wants to get the role. That would be dope.
I think that would be so cool. Awesome. All right. I feel like we have a tagline. And we have a synopsis. How are we coming on stage directions and the monologue? Let's see.
Trying to just draft out like a real simple stage direction, but like not really getting into a lot of it because we don't have dialogue. But yeah.
Right. Okay. Write a synopsis and a tagline. Write a sample of the stage. Yeah, she's minding her own business. Body interrupts her.
Also really loving this monologue.
3 minutes left. I'll cook a little, clean a little, take a bubble bath.
What is that?
Interesting. I like that idea of if someone makes a pass at me, I'll just fight them off because I've been in fights before. But then acknowledging that Elda either didn't or couldn't fight him off, but somehow he's going to be inherently different in this female form.
Yes, because he's still thinking.
Yeah, as a man.
That's the strength of a man.
Yeah. Interesting. It'd be interesting to, I guess that's not necessary, but I was thinking like, I don't know why, Celeste, when you said their names, that I assumed that they had some sort of relationship already, like that they weren't strangers, that they knew one another. And I was wondering, like, how would that change things, right? Of that situation between two people who know each other versus total strangers.
If or rather when Vadi gets turned into a woman, now he's having a relationship with a woman that he knows, even for that one day, you know. To me, I think as a man, his immediate thoughts would be, is there such a word, a sapphic, then lesbianic, lesbianic?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He's thinking that he's going to have a sexual experience from another side.
Right.
He's not thinking about how he can, you know, improve a relationship with Elda by being emphatic.
Right.
So
he would be like, quote unquote, fulfilling one of those like stereotypical fantasies that men have.
Right.
Yeah.
He does not seem like the learning type.
Yeah. Oh, that could bring a really interesting dimension into this if they do know each other. And then she herself would be potentially even more invested in him learning this lesson, right? Because she's involved with him in some way, shape, or form, whether that's romantically or as a friend that, is borderline, potentially romantic or whatever because of his harassment or inappropriate approach to that conversation.
I would think that she would go into this experience much more hopeful. She would be thinking like, wow, he really is going to figure out what it's like to be a woman, and then he'll treat me better, But I believe she's going to be disappointed.
Hello, this is great. This is what devised theater is. It's certainly a wonderful. It's all the first. The first 3 days of collaboration on average is like the best, and I'm like currently in my own collaborative bubble. I'm working on a piece called Parallel University with a librettist, and I'm like the mixture of a lyricist and composer, and then another composer. And that's it's been a roller coaster. Like I'm very sciencey, and they want me for like my out of the box ideas, and then those two are usually very commercial, like brain people. So it's a bit of a like a tug of war a lot of times. I'm like, I want these characters' names to really sound like Vadi and Elda, but they're like, no, let's just name a normal names like Emma, and just so the masses can get it. It's like, this hurts. But anyways, this is what collaboration is, and certainly I'll share the screen and just read it, and tell you kind of my thoughts. You don't have to say anything else. Okay. Okay, let's see. Walking a mile in her horrors. Oh, wow. Okay, so heels. Walking a mile in her horrors and heels. Yeah, I already kind of think it is a horror musical. I mean, obviously it's horrors, and it does. In this day and age, of course, like it's invested in, at least a social issue. So I would assume it's women-driven team and women, issues. Elda has innate power she is aware of. Upon being harassed by Vadi, she curses him to spend a day in the life of a woman, so he can see firsthand the effect of his and other men's behavior. Vadi dismisses her and goes about his life. That night, still laughing at Elda's words, goes to sleep, secure in his manhood, then wakes up the next day to find he's been turned into a woman. Wow. Okay, I'm already... Okay, like, the best I can really correlate to is, of course, like, Beauty and Beast, but it's actually showing the scene of how the protagonist turns into Beast because of what they have done. It's something that is unfortunately missing from the musical and, the animated film, too. It's usually... usually theaters are open for like the inciting incident to be that, and certainly if I see it staged, musically I can see it's having horror-ish kind of undertones in music, and I can see lightning in the windows. I can see, usually what I'm saying is theatrically just to distract the audience a little bit, while like if the character is going to be played by the same actor or actress, like, if they are going to have a quick costume change. Okay, so they're going to sleep. No, it wouldn't be too hard. Like, there'd probably be mechanics of like actual like stage crew underneath the bed, and they could do that. I don't know. That's a cool visual that I've thought. This is something that like definitely definitely people who are into the fantasy and realism camp of theater will try to imagine is being done during this inciting incident. Heavy weather, loud music ish, like very horror-ish music, having the audience be distracted while there's an immediate clothes change and sudden change in makeup and stuff. Um, Maybe a wig, which is easy, right? Yeah. In stage directions, lights up on Elda. She is minding her business, quietly observing her surroundings when Vadi decides to interrupt her day. She lights up on Elda. She's minding her business quietly. Yep, that's so I it feels like if I this was the first stage directions after the opening number that establishes the world, I might accidentally think Elda's the protagonist, but that might be the case. It's totally there. That's the message. Like a woman is gonna have her show, and then a man just has to ruin it. Is what I get from the stage direction. It's like, oh, the show's gonna be on Elda. Oh no, Body comes in, and now we're gonna have to like ruin his stasis. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up my acting chops and try to read the protagonist's monologue, unless someone wants to. Who wants to read this? Or am I gonna? Okay, I am so despairing of the thought process of these people around me. They complicate everything. So, they didn't like what I did to Elda. Have they liked everything that was done to them? Did they object based on what was done to them? Who did it? This preposterous proposal, this so-called punishment, having me live as a woman for a day is poorly thought out. So, I'll cook a little, clean a little, and take a bubble bath. Big deal. Do they really believe I'm going to change my views? My behaviors? Oh, and even if it's a little more intense than that, let's say the plumber make a pass at me. A physical one. I'll fight him off. So what? Do you know how many fights I've had? Avoided in my life? That's a big deal. So Ella couldn't fight me off. Too bad for her. What's the big deal? And I feel like that's a good start to a number. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? What's the big deal? And it's a little bit squeal. Anyway, we're gonna go on a break, but that is an impressive monologue. Thank you. I think Celeste is the only one who is the poet on this. Hey, yeah. Thank you, you all. So we'll come back. It's 2:30 or 11:30 Pacific time. So yeah, just enjoy your breaks. You've earned it. So see you in a bit. Oh wait, if anyone has any questions, I'll be around.
So we're on break until 2:30?
Yep.
Got it. Cool.
I'll be here. I'll be on camera. Just let me know if you have any questions, and I'll answer them.
David, I do have a question actually. So when you're thinking about composing music and lyrics for a show, what is like the bare minimum sort of musical knowledge that a person needs to have, right? Like when you think about, like if you write, say you write lyrics and you have an idea for a tune in your head, but you're not actually composing it on anything, you're kind of just thinking about it in your mind. Like, do you need to be really intentional about making sure that everything is in the same key, or is it okay for things to like fluctuate?
Yeah, it's okay for things to fluctuate. It really, it's um, usually it's okay. The bare minimum I would say is, of course, just if you can write the melody, and it's melody is usually the lot. Let's say when we're talking about like a painting, right? Of course, a melody is, yeah, like the most noticeable line in a painting, and the harmonies is something that you can just honestly go hire like an orchestrator or a music theorist to like help you build. You will still get credit for like the music if you just like write out the melody. And yeah, fluctuate like um yeah, my music fluctuates a lot. Certainly, the only thing is like you have to have a something set up for the audience during the beginning of the song, and that you can go crazy later. Um, just so like the audience doesn't, so that the audience grabs onto the song initially. And I mean, yeah, like during the beginning, yeah, you're yeah, the don't sell yourself short like that. You have like a certain level of knowledge of music. Like I always have to relearn. I always have to like relearn the circle of fifths all the time. Because yeah, like sometimes my thing is I sometimes don't work on all three mediums at once. Yeah, usually I write music first, and then it's just a long period of writing lyrics after and libretto, and then I'll be like, okay, now I have writer's block in these two parts. I'm gonna go back to music, and I'm gonna have to read some books. But if you just the bare minimum is really melody, like
Okay.
yeah,
And the melody line, that's the line that people actually sing, right?
yeah,
Like as long as you know like what the lyrics are following, the other stuff can.
yeah.
Okay.
And usually the easiest way to picking a key. Usually I always do this. I always ask, hey, what's the key that's played? Like if I Google and research, like, hey, what's the key that's usually played in happier song? G. Like, oh, okay, and then I'm gonna learn these 7 notes in the G, and that's the only chords that I'll follow. The only notes I'll follow.
Right.
And sometimes I'll deviate, just if it sounds better that way. It's okay. It'll still be in that key. Um,
Got it.
personally can't wait to get to the point in my life. Thank you, by the way, for asking, like, and approaching me for this. Can't wait for that point in life where I do have more sessions to actually expand on what I know. I just like looked at your chat like, yeah, I can't like go through a whole opening number. It's just there's so much to musical theater. Yeah, like I have lots to learn, and yeah, I'm like 7 years old in musical theater, like professionally. So it's like there's still so much to learn. Um, yeah, I look forward to how you'll expand my mind in the next masterclass. Uh, yeah, so okay, we're gonna get started. I'm gonna share my screen again in PowerPoint. Oh, okay.
Families.
Okay, so breaking to song. It would have made sense if everyone was in breakout before this, but that's okay, because that was supposed to be punful. This is from that song is from Ellipses, my musical, sung by Abby Holland. It's I hope it's stuck in people's head forever when it goes out. So, most important thing about music. Okay, how to not make more people hate musicals. And I'm sorry, I actually cannot teach that. I am not qualified to teach you how to or how not to break into songs, because honestly, I like breaking into songs too much. I know, it's you need to be delicate with this. I nor do I really care if I annoy the masses. Okay, maybe I really do, but I pretend not to. It's just really fun breaking out in song. Come on, I wish life was like that. And I'm really kind of more of an opera writer a lot of times. So a lot of times the way an opera writer and a musical writer is like differentiated is just how much more musical music is in it. So yeah, like so far on the basis of Opera America, like the official like organization that has opera members. Yeah, they usually are like, yeah, pretty much if you're at least 50% music at this point, it's pretty much near opera or light opera. And yeah, my musicals are at least 50% music. And yeah, in musicals, I would say like the difference between play with music is like maybe if it's a fraction and it's just like, an underscore playing in the background. But musical is at least a third. Like you can totally talk a lot more most of the time, but if you like planted your musical numbers, it's a musical. Anyway, what's the point of a theatrical song? So establish the setting, creates the mood and ambience, conveys a strong emotional undertone, develops the character, expresses the conflict, provides comic relief, and gives an anthem, pushes the plot. Yeah, if you have anything, just feel free to put them in the chat if you think of any ways that music, pushes something in a musical. And I'll just share with you my life as a...
Always look on the bright side of death. Just before you draw your terminal breath. Life's a piece of shit when you look at it. Life's a laugh and that's a joke, it's true.
Yeah, so as you can see, you don't have to be a good singer to be a musical writer. Yeah, always look on the bright side of life. In that song, always look on the bright side of life, I mean to encapsulate, it starts off in the beginning of the second act, and it's just usually that during that part of the musical, it's like when the hero is kind of falling a little bit. Because of the what happened in the end of the first act. And yeah, this part is like, well, I'm lost. And then my servant is like, look, be optimistic. And then the change in this song is, I go from life's a piece of S word to life's great, life's bright. Yes. So yeah. Um. Here's another song from one of my favorite musicals, Chess.
And how the cracks begin to show. Never make a promise or plan. And take the little love where you can. Nobody's a nobody's side. Never stay too long in your bed. And never lose your heart, use your head.
So the thing about musical songs versus a song and album, I mean, yeah, like a lot of songs in musicals aren't standalone. So you have to, like, oftentimes you don't know what these people that these characters are talking about, these singers are talking about when a musical an album from a musical comes out. And oftentimes you really have to see the show. Obviously you don't know what she's talking about when she's like, you're on nobody's side. And then if you go and see Chess, oh, it's the Soviets versus America. Oh, okay, this is what she means by side. So that's like the instrumental like difference of a song in an album by like independent artist versus a musical oftentimes. Musical, yeah, like the yeah, that's it's very hard for musicals to have standalone like songs, because oftentimes the critique a lot of times is we gotta propel the story, gotta push the story, and that often takes away the ability to have a standalone work. But you're always open to breaking the rules, and like if there's time in musicals, it's like, oh, let's just have a comic relief song that can be standalone, just to ease the audience from like just to have the audience escape the story a little bit if you want. And then this is just to show you, yeah, of course, when you don't have any lyrics to write, it's okay. You can just write stage directions, and the composer can just like write the stage directions. Oh, there's some drumming happening, and then that can already take up 3 minutes of writing or 3 pages that you feel you want to write some lyrics in. Can be like the effort can be taken away. Just pass it on to your composer. See how much you can tell without even like a word? Yeah, the composer could just also like have, yeah, like writes in music form like dashes on the bars, and the performers can take over and just like do anything. As long as the ending is, once they hit this part, they're supposed to lose. Like the person on the right. So certainly, like sometimes silence, or well, not technically silence, but no words is better than words sometimes. Okay, on to lyrics. So the things we consider in lyrics is action, and usually we want a single thesis. Of course, the single thesis is going to be pushing the story forward most of the time in musical numbers. Diction, rhetoric, so it's easier to say rhyme, easier to say verse. Something about verse in comparison to like actually this could be also applied to poetry in terms of poetry slam. A verse, when you are a reader, of course you see it like a paragraph of very concise words organized into like these kind of forms. But when you think of it in musical terms, a verse is what a singer can sing in a single breath. a lot of times when you consider a verse. When I say in relationship to poetry slam, it's kind of the same thing for a poet to make sure they can say this whole verse in kind of however many breaths they can. Like most of the time a verse is a single breath. I'm saying lyrics are lyrics through the ears of the beholder and extension of the beholder's life. Basically you can make anything can be lyrics. Like it doesn't have to be like poetry stanzas too, because I write in both forms. So going on more of what's kind of sort of the difference, but not really. The musical number is usually in the service of a larger story. The characters the most important part is you don't want the audience to be like, the musical writer who wrote this song is clever. You want it more, the character is clever. As opposed to if a poet is reading their poem, then of course the poet is clever. Because that means, you inevitably have major characters saying something that's not them, but actually the writer. It's very hard to phrase, but basically, if you are effective on character development, then whatever the character says, the audience will attribute to them. It's very connected to that character. And the asterisk is I'm a lyricist in both experimental cultural orbits, so take it however I think of poems and lyrics. And I'm not a poet, so please correct me if you're a real poet out there. I don't know what I'm saying when I'm just saying poems do this and do that. I think that's what they do. And that's how I'm trying to differentiate a poem and a lyric. So, like I said, it can be taken any way, however, I write it in both ways. So I write it, this whole thing, right, is under one breath-ish. Spin is an odd magnetic property encompassing quantum electromagnetic theory. Really, we should trust the matter here. I can state the up-down observable. You're always in my space. Yeah. So, I also want to show you that the biggest teacher is what's I'm gonna show you after this.
MTF, but in the meantime, here is Valence.
Spin is an odd magnetic property encompassing quantum electromagnetism theory. Really, we should trust the matter here. I can state up, down, observable. You're always in my space. Space-time fabrication brings about limitations. So let's move to state formation mixed valence within femtoseconds here. All that was at borons, an examination filled with holes in scantrons. Think of inside outside your matters. You'll figure out your charge and your configuration. There's something to being noble gas. I'll start with surveillance when this basic unit just quits taking energy. Electrons, they'll group their elements. They'll come out their shells. They'll find they'll find out their valiant core.
So going back to Alexandra's question about during the break about fluctuation in music. Certainly it does. It's something that's it's good to have so the audience can sort of not be if you set them up with enough amount of melody, a specific melody over and over, they'll settle into it, but then they'll get bored if it's too much. Um, but sometimes, yeah, like you have to consider the singers, and the singers are, yeah, like from here, this was up tempo, and then suddenly, sort of ballad, speed, and yeah, as you can see, she kind of forgot some of her lines because it twisted her in a knot. Like it's somehow, yeah, easier to for a singer to try to um, yeah, you have to slow down into to a specific tempo instead of like a random like up tempo and then just a very not that long of a bridge, right? And a sudden very slow part, and that's something you have to keep in mind for vocalists when you write lyrics. Ah. So yeah, ease in pronunciation, articulation, or in flow. Um, so yeah, the placement of the vowel sounds and consonants to facilitate such ease. The coordination, yeah, sound with range. That's okay. Like it's just more if you are also a hybrid composer, like Avi. Um, this is what I kind of learned, especially going to the Nuyurican Poets Cafe in Manhattan. Um, yeah, like even poetry slams, they do have to take account into what they're writing in terms of their age, their diet, their health, their upbringing. The poems that you've written 20 years ago, you might not be able to say it in such smooth forms anymore, let's say, because yeah, you've aged now. Uh, your rhythm's off. So that's something I want to say, like when you consider writing for your characters too. Of course, like that long phrase is not gonna be, yeah, sung by Quark. Is not gonna be sung by an older actor. The older actor's gonna have a hard time. So when you write, yeah, like certain characters, you have to, yeah, of course, specifically think in these other like traits. Like diving into diet. I mean, you heard the trope of like vocalists cannot eat dairy. Uh, so I mean, yeah, it's that's really it. But like diet wise, you have to um, consider yeah, what has if yeah, if a person's likely vegan, they yeah might sing are able to sing at a higher range or lower range, for example. Um, Health, yeah, if you smoke, I mean it's obvious. Like you it'll be good for like a raspy voice if you've written that character like that, and the music you write, the lyrics you write, you have to take out certain probably vowel sounds. If you are thinking of like characters that smoke, for example, like that they can't say these specific words. Um, yeah, upbringing. Sometimes, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, people cannot say. Yeah, like wherever you're born, you've been so in depth in the language you cannot say these specific words when you move somewhere else, and you think it's easy because you were just raised that way. So like that's something you have to consider too. Moving on, yeah, this is the easy one. So I write in kind of both forms. I admit that this was yeah, this is more supported by a community, while my other one's more independent. So can anyone? Yeah, like I'll read it. So warp waves and wrinkles sung for Milky Way from Ellipses. Milky Ways on their own, all alone. Know that for us at home, you're the only way forward through warp waves and wrinkles. Yeah, if anyone wants, you like, do you see the major differences in the particle physics lyrics and the astral lyrics?
You mean between this one and the one you just played us that Cork was singing?
Yep.
I mean, the phrases are much shorter on this one, like bite size.
Correct. Yeah. So it's like I considered the character that can sing it, right? So more children can sing this thing, while the other one is like, oh, a pretty trained college student can sing the physics one. Um, there's what elements? Yeah. Well, actually, it's not hard to see. It's not easy. It's super easy to see, but yeah, I have more rhyming scheme. Yeah. Um, you can see own, loan, for. Sounds very close to. It's a near rhyme. Own, for, or. Um, and yeah, the things I enjoy in when phrasing lyrics is going back and forth. So you can see the pattern. Lee rhymes with rink, way, waves, for, warp. These sound very similar. It's just I don't know. It's very it's something that I personally think of a lot of times when writing these lyrics. Like, how can I have this weird musical journey? How can I be contradictory? Actually, like, you're the only way forward, and then the lyrics is going backwards too. Anyways, so I was showing you the song, and we'll do like a really brief exercise. So, I'm gonna skip one slide to show you what the questions that I'll ask are. But yeah, so where does Milky Way start and where do they end up? What incites the change? Where does the change happen? What changes?
Can I ask you a question about the previous slide? When you were writing that, did you write it? How many drafts did it have for that little section? Did you write it as a thought, as a poem, and then switch the words around according to the way they sounded? Or did you write the sounds and then switch it around to make the logic and the point that you wanted to make? Do you remember how much tinkering it took to get it where it is today?
Yeah. This is the fourth draft. The third draft is like when someone actually read it instead of me. If I could remember how the first draft went, I had the title all set. So I just made sure to sometimes you find out the title in the end of us after writing the whole thing. But for me, I usually write the title first, and usually my titles are given because science already kind of like planted these in my research papers and stuff. So I was like, oh, what's rhymes with warp? Okay, I think the easiest way is to start off with the character Milky Way, and then I'm pretty sure the first word I thought of rhymed way more with warp. But I ended up being like, okay, there's no really easy way to say that they're on their own, but like it's very close to warp. It's a near rhyme. And then I keep saying alone. I keep saying in the spirits of Milky Way being alone. That's the next phrase, all alone. And then the whole video shows more of what's the handout I gave earlier. It shows more of what the characters are what the characters of the solar system is going to sing in like what the how do I say this? Usually the verses like stay in the spirit of what the message is on the first verse, but I was like, nah, I'm just gonna like turn it quick. Like I'm just gonna give the answer away pretty quickly, sort of. That the solar systems are okay with Milky Way. Anyways, it's very hard to phrase. I'm sorry if it's a little confusing, but like usually verses are like they stay in the message of the first line, but mine I just like, nope, you're fine, Milky Way. You're not really alone. We're here for you. And
I got it. I think I got the gist of my answer.
Yeah, no, it's like again, it took 4 drafts, like for a single verse, like it's certainly have my at least definite processes is okay. I don't really have concrete processes. I just have the title first. I try to really rhyme with the title. It changes from there in 2 drafts. The 3rd draft, someone reads it for me, sings it for me, redrafts it, and then the 4th one's the polished one like this.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very different for everyone. But yeah, I'll show you the song. It sounds like this.
Milky Ways on their own, all alone. Know that for us at home, you're the only way forward through warp, waves, and wrinkles.
Hey, cool. That's nice.
That's nice. I like that.
Through it all, thick and thin, through the entire universe.
You're planetary, friends feel like they're in your head.
Imaginary,
but really,
The solar system is located on your arm.
one of several.
Arms, in fact.
Look in a mirror.
What's mirror?
It's the thing to check what you look like.
I never know what I look like.
Neither do we, but take it from us. We know you're beautiful on the inside.
Screwdrum cross arm, Perseus arm, Norma Cygnus, Sagittarius, arm and heart. We're home on the Orion. Arms so small and so minor.
you're Magellanic. They're not planets, and you don't need to imagine. We hid a present in your waves. Like you, they have existed from the beginning of time. They signify perseverance. Don't eat your natural satellites!
I gravitate my
Oh,
feelings.
you ellipsoid! Go ahead and have a taste of the local group while you're at it. Cook Sagittarius at 3 megaparsecs.
Parsecs distance, not time.
Parsecs away from losing it.
It's the nature of galaxies. They'll eat everything.
Like us gas giants. We're persons too, after all.
Like you said, Orc Cloud, Milky Way has always been a person. In fact, they have reached a new stage in personhood.
I now have warp, waves, and wrinkles. I live with it. Warp, waves, and wrinkles. I love myself. Halo friend and our home protector and our ride hitchhiker and the only way out of our warp, waves, and wrinkles. We love it all.
Any more radio outbursts, and I'll supernova your asteroids.
Our warp, waves, and wrinkles.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you. That means a lot. And yeah, I mean certainly people who have actually seen the show like know more about how the arc works, but trying like this will also kind of sort of help me. Like, okay, so yeah, what the overarching question of every song is, where does protagonist or character start and where do they end up? So I'm trying to think of an appropriate question to start first. Where does the change happen in this Warp Waves and Wrinkles? Yeah, many of you actually, like, who have seen the handout where it's like the full scene before this. But it's okay, like, if no one knows, so I can actually pretty much answer it from my own point of view. So that handout where it shows you, like, the 10-minute scene leading up to the song, Milky Way hates their body, their self-imagery, they're, like, alone, they're roaming the universe alone, and then they have these imaginary friends called planetary friends that, like, speak to them and saying, hey, it's a mixture of, hey, your body's weird, but you're okay. And this song is the journey from Milky Way hating themselves, which is one of the last lines that Milky Way says before this song. Like, I hate myself. I hate how I look. I'm going through puberty. This sucks. And then towards the end, it's, Milky Way says, I love myself. And that's where the change happens. And what incites the change? It's both a big mix of musicality, a mix of so it's seen in the stage directions more, but like the planets give a stage for Milky Way to actually speak their heart out and let them like sing really terribly, let's say, which is why it's like, oh wait, yeah, like a person going through puberty singing, like, and then the sudden deep voice, I love myself, yeah. What is Milky Way? Yeah, hated himself, loves himself in the end. That's usually like the case of the songs is you want to make sure the character ends up somewhere different. That's what a musical theater song is. That's why it's hard to have him as the standalone song. It's like, if I listen to a song alone, it's like, where did this character, what's the scene, what's the setup like for this character usually. Like pop song is just like, oh, it's just hitting you with a message over and over, but it doesn't have to have like characters or whatever. But the musical form is, you have to have a character that starts somewhere and ends somewhere. With this emotional undertone. This is just external, like composition stuff, like so a lot of happy music is in D, the key of D. It's my favorite key usually, and then I decided to go with C sharp, which is a half step down, to show that Milky Way's trying to reach there, but they're still a child, and they're and C sharp. Okay, more music theory. C sharp just has a lot of sharps, like the most sharps out of. So it's even the musicians may have a little bit of a hard time playing this song, but that's kind of the point. That whole overarching song is, you're just learning. So, Alexandra?
Yeah, one thing you said was that the character should end somewhere different at the end of a song. Does that apply to the opening number as well, or because that's context setting?
That's context setting, yep.
Okay.
Usually, it's a characters. Opening numbers aren't character songs necessarily. They're more like, expositional song. Like, what I usually mean is, of course, like ballads, or a big number centered on a character. Yeah. And then, so this is my sort of favorite type of song, actually. So, music should demean the lyrics. And what do I mean? My favorite songs are irony or double entendre songs. So, going to Class from Chicago, it's sung by a murderer, but she's saying, I miss when things had class. It's like, that's weird. I know things now from Red Riding Hood is sung by Red Riding Hood, and no, she doesn't. She gets eaten. Yeah. Anomaly is everything. That's totally contradictory. Anomaly is special. Yeah. So usually, yeah, these antithesis sorts of irony and double entendre, they're easier to be in musicals. It's something that musicals have a leg on compared to other story mediums, because a character can be like, let's be quiet, but the music is absolutely loud. And it's like harder to do in any sort of other mediums. It's to have this kind of like comedic irony, and that's why it's my favorite song. And it's usually, I'm like a person who kind of loves contradictions and antithesis, just because. Cool. Let's just say a lot of physics phenomenon is that it's a lot of science. It's like there's hardly concrete work a lot of times, and scientists do like have a stance on this, and like another credible scientist has another stance on this. So I kind of have to like this. It hurts my head because, of course, like a veteran's musical writer would be like, "What's the story about in this song?" And I'm like, my head hurts. It's contradictory. You gotta figure out yourself. So again, it's like breaking the rules after I just said like, oh, let's be clear. So it's really up to you. A good song I enjoy is from the Pirates and Panzans.
Quiet.
We can't like tread upon a prey we steal. In silence dread, a cautious way we feel. No sound at all, we never speak a word. A fly's foot fall would be distinctly heard. So stealthily the pirate creeps while all the household soundly sleeps. To plow the sea, switch to navigation, take another station. Let's marry piracy with a little burglary.
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to try to novelize that, but like in musical form, yeah, like put it in stage directions. Like actually, these characters are very loud, and the music, like emphasizes that. So something I love about musicals is like, let's be stealthy about this, and then just heavy metal if you want. And going to the I Want, the most important song oftentimes, not important, but like necessary, a very instrumental song that's found in almost all musicals is the I Want song. It's very simple for what it means. A character just sings about what they want, and then the audience follows this plot that the super objective that the character has laid upon the audience. Basically, you after singing the I Want song, the audience is just like, I want you to get this goal. And then either the heroes, just like any storytelling medium, gets what they want, or they find out this is not what they want at all. Like, oh, I want fame and glory, and then they go on this journey, and then they make these friends that are in poverty, let's say, and then they're like, I don't want money or fame after all. I wanted actually something different, and it's friendship, right? Genuine friends. Some good songs. Like going back to the I Want song. The I Want song oftentimes is after the opening number, when that's usually the protagonist's first song about themselves. Is the I Want song. And like for example, Lion King. Oh, I just can't wait to be king. Immediate, the title gives it away. That's the I Want song. Belle, from Beauty and the Beast. Sometimes it's just blunt in the lyrics, but you can kind of tell it's the I Want song. The name of the protagonist as the song. I want adventure in a great white somewhere. I want adventure in a great white somewhere. Oh, it's the I Want. Now the audience is like, I want to follow Belle in this journey. The audience wants to follow Simba as they like take over as king, hopefully. So this is from Beetlejuice. So it doesn't have to be really blunt, but like, okay, so this one kind of breaks the fold of how musicals theaters are done. It's actually also the opening number too. The opening number also is the I Want song in Beetlejuice. Usually the opening number, oftentimes the protagonist might not even show up until the end of the opening number, and then it's like, oh, that's the protagonist because they stick out compared to the stasis of the world, right? Well, here, yeah, she sticks out immediately. This is her mother's funeral. She's the only one with the red rose, and she's saying basically, I want to be, I want my mother back, and I want to not be ignored now that like I lost the person who only cared about me. And then. Yeah, so on the surface level, if you've seen or read the books, Tiana wants to own a restaurant. And yeah, you could see kind of also from the imagery, the theatrics of like the restaurant imagery. A lot of I Want songs is very upbeat, kind of. The first part is sort of easing the audience into it, and then the I Want song is just like, showing the emotions of how much this character wants this thing, like in such an up-tempo way, and then it slows down, like what has happened with Tiana went to her mother. Like that's often the progress of an I Want song is like, okay, the I Want, yeah, it's surface level telling you that I Want. It's making this protagonist really happy. It would make this protagonist really happy if they get this goal. And then the last 4/5, like right here, is oftentimes, it slows down to tell you the why they want it. They don't tell you the why in the beginning. That's the answer you don't want to give until towards the end. When like the music's usually, that's the tactic of a lot of times I Want song. It slows down towards the 4/5, towards the end, and I want it because my mother would be proud or something, right? Like it's usually the tempo slow, and then the audience, oh, yeah, and this is an example of like a song of like, the characters conflicted on not knowing what the hell they want, but they want something different.
Now I'm where I want to be and who I want to be and doing what I always said I wouldn't, yet I feel I have to want to go. Running for my life and never looking back in case there's someone right behind to shoot me down and say he always knew I'd go. When the crazy wheel slows down.
Yeah, so again, like it's the characters that like have all the fame and they have their wants, but they're conflicted. It's not. Is it really what they want? It's also like an I want song. And this is again this is another song that's like that happens after the opening number, and then it's like, oh, that's the protagonist, Anatoly. Yeah, one of the chess masters. So I just showed you like 2 Disney films, and it is a tactic used in a lot of Disney musical animated films. The I Want song. Little Mermaid has it. Lion King has it. It's certainly the, I guess, commercial like tactic I use. It's just an easy way to just like, oh, establish the character. What do they want? In the case of Mulan, knowing the story, I mean, a good motif that of reflection is like that melodic phrase is planted throughout the whole film. And then when she gets what she wants, in the end of the film, she looks at a pond, and her reflection is that she's her true self, true warrior self.
And if I don't get the things I am after, I'm going to scream. I want the works, I want the whole works. Presents and prizes and sweets and surprises of all shapes and sizes, and now don't care how, I want it now. Don't care how, I want it now.
So, even I Want songs are for not so heroic characters. Again, it's the easiest way to really establish a character, the I Want song. So in even the antagonistic character, or a supporting character, it doesn't have to be an I Want song. It can be like a We Want song, like for the supporting characters. And then the protagonist has a specific I Want. Just a bunch of examples of I Want songs. Belle, Lion King, The Wiz, In the Heights, Fiddler on the Roof. Fiddler on the Roof is a guy. What's his name? But the protagonist wanting their 5 daughters to find a husband. My musical, my protagonist wants to be an independent adult in the room. It's the part where I do that tactic where it's fast paced kind of during the beginning, and then towards the end, JD clarifies a little and the music slows down. My future is enriched where my legacy is able to be the adults in the room. And it's like slowing down is like that's as long as you have a bridge so that the singer can calibrate quickly enough, it should be good for you to have these fluctuations. And I would say this is my favorite, like, very ironic I Want song in a way. So.
'Cause I want you to want. To want. So what do you want, Paul? What's that one concrete goal that motivates all your action?
I don't think I have one of those.
Well, then how's anyone supposed to sympathize with you, Paul?
I don't know. I want money, a
Yeah, so basically it's encapsulated in this musical called The Guy Who Doesn't Like Musicals. Which is sort of like the joke about it jokes about the musical structure. It makes fun of it. This is the third song. It's like the second third song. Yeah, the second song, and it's like, why does protagonist Paul not have a wand? Please have a wand, otherwise we will not be sympathetic as an audience member. Right? That's the goal. The I want.
I want you to.
Well then, how is anyone supposed to sympathize with your body, right? How is anyone supposed to sympathize with body? No, we're back to collaboration. Present your team story and I want poem instead of really an I want song, unless because Avi's here, that's what Avi, if you want to have a really interesting melodic phrase that you want to write, I would love to hear it. Yes, I love to hear it. Novelist, so revise your synopsis if you have time. Yeah, write the plot summary up to this exciting incident. So plot summary is like a little more descriptive synopsis, basically. And playwright write the stage directions and scenes leading up to the I want poem. The poet writes the I want poem that the protagonist would monologue. As I said, like, you can be very surface level on the I want in the beginning of the poem, and then you can just really, really slow down in one of the last verses, let's say. And really, that's where you hit the audience with, oh, that's why Vadi wants this. So, okay, so because of the situation of Vadi turning into a woman, right? The I Want song can be, like, as long as after, a lot of times after the opening numbers, it can be after or before the inciting incident. So one example, going back to the I Want song, Dorothy from The Wiz, soon as I get home. So the beginning is, she was home. Inciting incident, she is flung into another world. Now she's singing this I Want song. Crap, I want to go home. I'm not trying to give you a hint, but I feel like Vadi wants to be a man again. Like, that's probably what they want. And then, who knows, their journey throughout the whole story is, I actually like being a woman. Or, like something like that, I just can't wait to be king. That's a song before the inciting incident. So, putting I Want songs anywhere you want.
Does the want song have to be a want that they achieve by the end of the musical?
No. Yeah, a lot of times, there are, like, much like the storytelling mediums, a lot of times, the protagonists may not get what they want. Okay. They should learn something. Like, maybe this is not really what they wanted after all.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Or this want is so ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so if anyone has any questions, I'm gonna be here.
Celeste, I was thinking about what you said in that when Vadi turns into a woman, that his first thought might be sapphic from, like, that sort of fantasy that some men have. And I was wondering, like, could his I Want song be all of the things he wants to do as a woman from the perspective of being a man, right? Like, so not necessarily things that a woman would do, but things that a man who is a woman would think that a woman would want to do.
I love that.
Right?
That could get crazy.
Yes.
No, you're trying to give me 3 headaches.
Yeah, like what he quote unquote wants to do matched with what he's actually either able to do or what he actually experiences over the course of the musical could be so different, and potentially comedic. That just occurred to me as he was talking about the I Want song.
Okay, lady.
What about if he got to the point where he likes being a woman? And
Yeah, that too.
he would want to do things in this new experience as a woman.
Yeah, I think that maybe by the end of the I Want song, I don't know if I would say that he wants to be a woman, but he wants to like experience whatever the experience will be because he's naive about what it really is potentially, right? So he's like, yeah, I want to spend a day as a woman. Let's do this. Let's do all the things that women do, but from this like really uninformed kind of naive place potentially. Okay, so redoing our synopsis and thinking about I Want. So then the I Want song we're thinking would come after the inciting incident. So after he's already been transformed into a woman.
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking too about what David said in that with lights focusing on Elda in the beginning makes her the protagonist. I wonder if we want her to be the protagonist or do we want Vadi to be the protagonist of this? Because then maybe we're starting with him and then Elda comes on the scene and he does whatever he does to upset her and then she wishes / curses him to become a woman versus her being the protagonist. But also with her being the protagonist and him coming on scene and making it all about him is also very man-like. So it could potentially go either way. I just, seeing as we're really thinking about the beginning of this, I don't know, like, do we see Elda like following his journey along, or does she kind of like disappear from the story and we're just following him and what he experiences? In which case it might make sense to set him up as the main character.
Well, let her have a part in it up to the point where her magic works. And then you take it from her to him and maybe back to her at the end. Like they become bosom buddies.
So then if she's coming in the beginning and then disappearing until the end, then I feel like he might be better as the main character because her part is minimalized then.
Yeah. But then they both become
okay.
One person at the end.
Got it. So original synopsis. Pursues. Oh, spell wrong. Um, um, mm, Delta, but oh, how did that? Okay. Oh, I can't use that. Good. Oh, what? Stop. Um, what's the big deal?
I like both of those options. I feel like that second one is a lot like relatable, especially the deflecting part. Like,
Yeah,
all right, ha, 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 all right now,
exactly.
like, and it has like that build up to it of like,
Yeah, that like
okay.
politely declining because you think they'll get the message. Really only did two because I forgot we said that they knew each other, and the first one I started writing as if they were strangers, and I was like, oh wait, I think we said that they knew each other. So I started going with this, but So I was thinking that this could go one of two ways. He can wake up and be in a woman's body, or he can wake up and be in Elda's body. And I know we said that if he wakes up in a different body, that he and Elda could potentially have some sort of sapphic thing. But one of the stereotypical things that I see in like gender swapping stories is that, oh, the first thing I'm gonna do is like pleasure myself because I get to see what it feels like as the opposite sex. And so I feel like if he was in Elda's body, someone he's already attracted to, who's been like deflecting his motions, that's like one of the first things that he's gonna think that he wants to do. And that could add an interesting dimension in a different way than if he's another separate girl and interacting with Elda.
Right.
So something to think about. But I think we're good on the updated synopsis of the beginning. I tried to think of like what the songs would look like in the synopsis. So like, you know, the opening number would be them out on the town, Vadi with his friends, or Vadi and Elda with their friends, and then him trying to like, you know, hit on her or whatever. And then, you know, getting to the point where she curses him or wishes that he could experience a day in her shoes. And then I liked what came out of our first collab session, the monologue of what's the big deal. And I could see that as being a great song before his change. If Elda like makes a big deal about him like coming on to her, and you know he's deflecting, he's like, whoa, like you need to calm down, it's not that serious, like I didn't really do anything. So there's kind of this like, you know, what's the big deal, I don't know why she was so upset, yada yada, I don't understand like why women are like this, that kind of thing, just really naive sort of self-centered thinking. And then he goes to sleep. And then when he wakes up, of course, there's the initial freak out of being a woman that I see could just be spoken. But then there's like a light bulb moment of, wait a minute, I get to maybe do things that I've never gotten to do before. And then that's where the I Want song could come in, where he's like, you know, thinking of all the things that he wants to do now that he's, you know, no longer a man, etc.
I'm sorry to break in this way, but I gotta go.
Marilyn, no worries. It was so great to have you with us today.
It's nice to meet you.
Thank you. But I wanted to say that I opened the internet store and I'm selling greeting cards.
Oh, awesome.
So I'll put the website in the chat and you can take it from there.
Yeah, definitely. You can also post it to the meetup group if you want to.
Okay.
On the discussions page.
All righty.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming. Hope to see you again soon.
Okay.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
I love the stage directions. Eyes pop open as a new body part presses on the mattress.
I really like the poem.
It reminds me a little bit of I Just Can't Wait to Be King from The Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
Free to run around all day.
Hello. All right. So.
You definitely scared me.
Oh yeah. I was. Just gotta go all in Mormon. Okay. I'm sorry. Sorry. Yeah. So. Okay. Y'all's turn to present and like lay on me. Yeah. Certainly, yeah, share my screen and you just tell me. And yeah, maybe if Avi wants to read a monologue, I would love to hear that. Yeah, let's go ahead. What have you got? Okay, that's that one. Okay, who wants to talk?
Maybe we can each share our own section and just go down the list. So we updated the tagline, walking a mile in her hardships and heels. Horror felt a little strong and we weren't necessarily going for the horror genre. A synopsis of what happens leading up to the inciting incident. Basically, Vadi is coming on to his friend Elda, who politely declines him, but as he continues his advances, she gets a little more adamant and strong in her rejection. Confused, he kind of backs off and leaves, feeling like his night is ruined. He doesn't understand why women don't respond to him when he comes on strong, because clearly he's a man and they're supposed to like his advances. He goes to sleep and then wakes up transformed actually into the body of his friend. And then funny things and hopefully learning ensues. Plot summary, a little more involved. Vadi is out on the town with his friends. We see that as like the opening number. They're in a mixed group. He's always been into his friend Elda, but she's never reciprocated. They're drinking. He gets a little bold and he starts putting the moves on her. She's like laughing it off, as us girls sometimes do, to like be polite but still saying no. But Vadi doesn't get the hint. So finally she's like loud about it, and he's like, whoa, like calm down. I don't know why you're making such a big deal out of this. Like, I didn't even do anything. And she basically curses him into spending a day in her shoes, and he's like, whatever. But his night's been ruined, so he leaves. And as he's walking home, we have the like, what's the big deal number, which is him sort of thinking about like, he's a great catch. Women should be happy to, for his attention, yada, yada. By the time he gets home, he goes to sleep, and then he wakes up, finds himself turned into a woman. And there's this brief kind of like freak out period of like, oh my God, this isn't my body. What the hell? But then he starts thinking about like all the things that he could potentially do in this body, especially since it's the body of a woman he's attracted to. And that's where the I Want song comes in.
I mean, yeah, we transitioning, like, I'll give you my thoughts and then we'll transition. Yeah, wow. I want to see this musical already. Like, yeah, of course, he's taking the horror element. Now it's very much like a contemporary, well, if I just read the tagline alone, contemporary, a social issue. Yes, I'm like, okay, invested. Going down into, plot summary. Yeah, like, the second song being what's the big deal? Already, like, that sounds pretentious song. That song sounds very pretentious. And then it's already sort of answered in the title in a weird way, but maybe not. Like, what's the big deal? I'm the big deal. No. That's what I would get from that. The opening number. Oh, yes. I could... it's good introduction of Vadi. I'm like already like invested. So the stasis is Vadi having friends. And then now towards the end, it's like, how are they gonna treat Vadi now, right? Like, that's what my thoughts are now from the opening number, like having a stasis that Vadi has friends, and now Vadi's a woman, and do they have friends now? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Besides the major, like, change of a character from this sex to another sex, I'm like, oh, it's also his relationships and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, what lessons will he learn throughout this journey? Will his friends just be like, oh, you remind me of Vadi? And yeah, like, I hated Vadi. like that's what I'm thinking now. Okay, now so stage 2, sample Labrayo.
I think I focused just more on the stage directions, but I did the part before, so leading up to them in the bar. So lights up on everyone in the bar. Not in the mood for pushiness. She matches Vadi's aggressiveness to his surprise. And then moving to when he actually wakes up the next morning, lights up on Vadi. He yawns as he begins to wake, stretching and rolling over. His eyes pop open as a new body part presses on the mattress. He sits up frantically, patting his hands down his body.
That's, oh my gosh, that's the wonders of theater. I mean, your whole you're fully vulnerable. I mean, yeah, Aaliyah, like, you had to answer this question, but this must be, like, interesting to try to think of in cinematography versus, theater. Like,
Right, yeah.
like yeah, like imagine like in cinema you have to focus on Vadi's face, but you know you have to show that he's somehow touching his parts under, and then like the audience would have to pick it up like 5 seconds later. Oh, while stage, yeah, like you can see everything, right? Like most, yeah. Yawns. His eyes pop open. Yeah, that can be seen. That can be seen. Like, yeah. Usually, that's the case of filming having an upper hand is you can totally see the eyes pop open. While, like, of course, people sitting in the back won't. But
Right.
there's already enough, you know, action that's being done to like mitigate that, and this is, oh, like, yeah, like, yeah, as the audience member, it's like, I think Body deserves. Uh, I would empathize and feel shocked if I wake up, with certain parts. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if Celeste wants to read it, but if Amy wants to read it with some kind of interesting music aesthetic, underscore whatever, you can give it a try.
Please, Abby, go for it.
Okay, so what is it? The I Want poem? Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess I'll just freestyle it. I'm a good me. I'm the best me. No matter which I am, no matter who I be. What's the deal? I'm a good me. I like my mean and scary. I like my deceptively docile. I like my hard and hairy. I like my soft and sticky. I'm a good me. I'm the best me. No matter which I am. Whoever you make me be. What's the big deal? I'm gonna have my kind of fun. Oh, it's being me. Okay.
I love that.
I love that.
Can we cast you already?
Oh man, obviously there's like a lot of things to flesh out, and like you want to create the right melodies that repeat and blah blah blah, but yeah, I did my best, guys.
That was really lovely.
Yeah. I also love the idea of what's the big deal being like a theme throughout the show. And like at every point, he's getting an answer to, oh shit, that's the big deal, at different points throughout.
Totally.
Well,
I want us to write this musical. Like, I'm so like in a happy place right now.
And I'm like invested.
Like, this is so much fun collaborating with people like this. This is not what you get to do when you write a novel.
It was wait. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was great. Thank you, David.
Oh, thank you all. Like, go on.
And thanks for that great presentation. You put a lot of work into it. I appreciate it.
I have a little more to end this, to conclude this, but yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Oh no, I'm so happy that you're having like a lot of fun. Like, yeah, that's the point. Like, yeah, musicals in hindsight, yeah, it's a lot of work, but there's a lot of collaboration. There's people that are together. Like, even though I'm what they call a triple threat and doing all these three things, I do need the ideals of a lot of people. I do need like hands everywhere, and it's always wonderful to build a story communally. And even though, who knows, like I said, like you want to pass on what you learn into your medium. Novelists don't have to be alone, of course. So going here, where do I go from here, right? So find your community. So the Harlem Writers United, they meet. We all meet on Saturday, bi-weekly on Saturdays, and bi-weekly on Wednesdays. The Saturday ones are the shares, and the Wednesday ones are more like accountability writing. So yeah, like this is where you can share your work. Leah, you're in Harlem, so definitely like come around, share the place that you're working on currently. Working Title Playwrights, that's what Leah and I are part of. It is, yeah, as it says, playwrights, particularly more suited for theater, but certainly, yeah, it's a national organization, so they're open to having members come in and out. And you can, yeah, pop into, which is, yeah, it's something that's open every once a month on Mondays. Is, yeah, they have readings, and it just shows you can give feedback on people's like plays and stuff. But yeah, being a part of a member, yeah, there's a bunch of free write events and accountability events too, which I'm heading to after this. Share your work. Yeah, this is where I go to all the time. Musical Theater Factory. They have a lot of stuff online now, but basically you get to share your work again. They have roundtables. You don't have to you don't have to share musicals. You can, yeah, just share your writing. So, and they have roundtables. I sometimes moderate for the POC roundtable. So, and there's the gender nonconforming table, and there's a woman's table. And then they have a salon. The salon is often they have a special musical theater guest that like comes and gives you feedback for your work, and yeah, you share around. You know, Eurydican Poets Cafe. That's a cafe in Manhattan. Certainly, that's more towards poets, and they do have poetry slams, and they meet every Monday and Thursday nights via Zoom. It's where you can be part of a lineup and share your poems. They don't really have time to give feedback. All the times they have like 16 people on the lineup. But it's a good way to kind of just, yeah, see the reactions of people. And yeah, get a mentor. I'm very thankful for knowing Janelle Lawrence for the past 2 years. I wake up very early in the morning, usually 6. They're a very early morning person, and we just discuss music, and they keep me accountable. Like honestly, a lot. Yeah, like right now trying to teach you all, it helps me too. It helps me find what's crooks and nannies of knowledge that I have yet to really clarify. And yeah, like again, I'm here.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm like, I feel really dumb, but in a good way. A lot of times they actually have a music background, and sometimes 2 years ago I did not know how to define a melody. For example, I'm like, I know what it is, but I don't know what the words and definitions of, yeah, I don't know. Like, so they keep you accountable. So, I mean, I'm not at this point in life where I can be an efficient mentor yet, but I hope someday that I am. And I will be, like, hopefully a mentor to someone who may follow in my footsteps, who want to be a hybrid scientist and hybrid musical writer. And connects! Yeah! Go out and connect. That's the biggest thing. Again, it's be open to sharing your work. You're the only one who can execute it the way you want it to. If you don't know music, just say you have this story in your head, but maybe someday I want to have a musician attached, and maybe that person will be like, oh, I know a friend, just because you said that. And yeah, thank you, Harlem, and yeah, thank you, Leah, for coming and supporting. Yeah. So here's Leah and I during our reading back in July, and Alexandria is off camera somewhere. Thank you for coming. Yeah, that means a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David, thank you so much for putting on this workshop today. So informative. I loved the exercises and the chance for collaboration as well. Appreciate you shouting out the group. So, AV, Aaliyah, we're currently the Harlem Neighborhood Writers, and we're going through a process of rebranding. So, Harlem Writers United will be our name moving forward in November. So if you'd like to continue to be part of the group and come to our events and our critique meetings and stuff like that, we welcome you to join us on the new meetup group. I just dropped the link in the chat. We're open to all different types of genres, level of experience, etc. It'd be great to have more playwrights and musical theater enthusiasts and writers in the group for sure. David, I did have a question for you, which you probably kind of answered with Musical Theater Factory and Working Title Playwrights. But if someone wanted to write a musical that they hope to someday see performed somewhere, but they were very new to the process, like how do they go about that? Like what is the best way for them to kind of break in once they have it written? Like who do they reach out to?
The easiest is probably Dramatists Guild. Certainly, like they accept people once you like written a play. I'll put it in the chat. Dramatists Guild and Dramatists Guild. Oh, it actually is the reason I met my mentor.
Oh, great.
So like they have events where a specific they'll email you like, hey, there's a musical like group that we're hosting, or like musicals for beginners, like even they have those. That's where even in those classes, a veteran musical writer will be there just to relearn some fundamentals work stuff. Like I'll do that like sometimes just to relearn things, and certainly like a new person who's like, I'm only written the libretto. I certainly would love to work with a up and coming composer. And that's a good way to get started.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone have any more questions? Cool. Honestly, we could just leave the room and everyone could just connect. Like that could be a way we could just do it. Yeah.
Yes, I'm looking forward to keeping in contact with you guys.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, same.
Great. Well, thank you all so much. Sorry, David, go ahead.
Oh, no, it was good to meet you, Avi. Good to see you, Leah. Avi, just to briefly say how I'm more connected to San Francisco. So a month ago, a theater called Playwrights Foundation asked me to be their literary fellow. So now I'm reading.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I'm reading. Yeah, I know how festivals pick out their scripts now. Like I read a decent amount every week of plays, and then I just make the choices of which readers read those plays, and then I assess what score they give, and I'm just like, okay, will they get to the next stage, or will we have to send out a specific letter? And that's been my task, and like I'm very connected to Play Cafe, which every month they share musical songs. So I'll put that in the chat too. You consider coming, but you also have my email. If you have any more, if you need more resources, I there's so much to list. Like I cannot. Like when I was just like putting examples of musicals, I was like, there's so many musicals. It's just and like the biggest thing is also you can come from anywhere. I actually have not seen a Broadway show.
I thought you would have seen all of those.
Yeah,
I thought I was the only one.
I've read the librettos, like a lot of them, but I've never seen a Broadway show. I think things need to change. I think Broadway needs to be more accessible. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, anyways, take care. I'll just be off camera if anyone just wants to connect and like just ask me more questions until 4:15.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. It was really, really great to see you, David, again. Thank you so much for this. For those of you who are here today, our learning series, this was our first one ever. It's a new series of workshops we hope to give quarterly, where members of the community have a chance to share something that they feel knowledgeable about, passionate about, and would like to share with the community. So hopefully our next one will be in January. Open to submissions and pitches. The earlier the better, because then you have more time to prepare. David put all this together in about 3 or 4 weeks. So he kind of got the short end of the stick. I had the idea and I was like, David, musicals, new things for our group, please do it. And he was a total trooper, and I really appreciate his support in that respect. But if you have something you would like to share with the group in January, feel free to let me know. And Alea and Avi, hope to see you guys at a future meeting. I'm going to sign off and eat lunch because I'm hungry, but hopefully I will see you guys at one of our next meetings, and have a great weekend.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.